and healthy rapport with the KOLs, as I mentioned in the previous slide. KOLs, again, I repeat, KOLs are doctors whose opinion or their usage of the product can influence other set of doctors as well. So that's why, so we are going to meet them. So in we should be in a high graded medical expert. So and they possess this doctorate degree as well. So this is a recent statistic analysis which reveals that around 23% of the Pharm.Ds have been employed as an MSL around the globe, and 34% are PhDs, and the rest are MBBS, MD, and other master degrees as well. So why I pointed out this statistics, because you can see PhD pharmacology as well as Pharm.D percentages are higher comparing to other graduates around the globe. And India as well, now it is evolving. I wanted to add this point also in this slide. In India, you can see in many MNCs, like foreign MNCs as well as Indian MNCs, PharmDs, they are being very much aware about this role, and they are getting and they are cracking. Because in this role, PharmDs will be a great fit according to me. Why I will explain in the upcoming slides. So what are the core responsibilities with respect to this MSL role? What they will exactly do in their day-to-day activities, and what are all their KRAs, that is key result areas. So this MSLs, mainly their predominant job role is called KOL engagement or KOL relationships, maintaining KOL relationship. So as I said, we as an medical experts, we want to meet these KOLs in our day-to-day activities and to have a good peer-to-peer relationship with those KOLs, because with their opinions, you should able to generate medical insights. At the same time, you should communicate the company's medical strategies with the doctor, and you also should gain what are the recent advancement. At the same time, what are all the recent difficulties they undergo when they are using the company's product, and you need to communicate with the recent literatures also, a complex scientific information to the doctors. At the same time, you're going to enlighten them with the recent advancement in the therapy area as well. And the second important job role is making scientific communication via this CMAs. So what an MSL role is in this second core responsibility is, MSL is will be a major point of contact with the doctor in order to initiate a kind of a roundtable conference or a medical continuous medical events. So in that case, you will be a speaker sometimes, or the doctor, the key opinion leader will be a speaker to a set of doctors, and you need to communicate the therapeutic recent advancement and the cutting edge therapies to the fellow doctors who came into the thing. At the same time, when the opportunity will be also given to the doctor also, they will also communicate the scientific information. Whereas an MSL, most of the time the MSL will take care of the product details and the literature and the clinical research which happened with respect to the company's product, and they will disseminate to the fellow doctors. And the third important role is this supporting clinical trials. So, so in I think in our fifth year, we studied this paper, or we studied this subject called clinical research. We went through multiple roles and responsibilities of different stakeholders into the clinical research, etc., etc. So, what this job role is meant for an MSL is, here they initiate this investigator initiated trials. We call it as IITs or IIS, that is investigator initiated trials or investigator initiated studies. So we need to engage an KOL into the study, where he can really conduct a study over his patient, where he can be a principal investigator and he can test the company's product as in the phase 3B or in the phase 3A trial actually, and he can get the therapeutic information, and at the same time he can also able to generate the primary outcome and secondary outcome which meeting the objectives of the trial as well. And So why stressing this point, because unless and until you know the clinical research aspects crystal clear, you can't get into this job role, because it is an important KRA and you need to know each and everything about the clinical research which is happening, and you are going to enrich the doctors with the initial protocol and complete visits in the study site as well as gathering the info. So everything MSL will be responsible as well. And you should also train your speakers for the CMEs. So for example, if I assign an KOL for any kind of continuous medical event, so before the event is being done, I need to meet the doctor and I need to explain him the each and every slide deck before he is going to present. So you need to intervene and you need to advise the doctor in such a way that he is not going any wrong in such in any point of view, or maintaining the key results at the same time maintaining the science behind the product in a correct way. And we also need to train companies medical rep as well. That is a very important point, because they are the people who's going to the doctor in a meeting them in a day-to-day life, and they're going to have a good communication with them as well. So we need to ensure their what you will say therapy area knowledge, product knowledge, at the same time recent advancement with respect to the product as well. Right. So, and next is the foremost point, according to me, gather and report competitive intelligence data. So, what does it mean? It is nothing but generating RWE data, or what you will say PMS data. RW in the sense real world evidence generation, that I will separately speak in the upcoming slide, and PMS management in the sense post marketing surveillance by observing really the rare and side effects, adverse effects with respect to the product, whether it is being really well going with all the people or any kind of adverse reaction is happening with the patient. So in order to counteract and in order to reconcile all those pharmacovigilance data as well. So with this, what I would need to say this, like these five core responsibilities are very common in an MSL role, and these are the tasks that an MSL will perform in his career and his day-to-day life in the professional setting. So now I talk about the core responsibilities, but along the product life cycle from this early development to the post-launch, what an MSL actually do. So overall, you saw core responsibilities in the previous slide, but according to the step by step, now the responsibilities has been segregated, and that is in front of you right now. So in the early development of the product, you need to communicate with the KOL, and you need to get the information or insight should be generated from them, from an external expert, that is KOL actually. So we need to extract the information before a project is being before we plan for a product launch. So we need to generate these insights from them. At the same time, you need to communicate the science behind the product to the doctors and to make sure that whether it is in the right way and whether it will work out or not. So in such a way, you need to communicate with the doctor and to get its medical insights. That is the first point in early development. And when it is in the pre-launch, that is before your launch, you need to initiate this kind of clinical trials with the KOLs, mainly this phase 3A or phase 3B trials, that is therapeutic confirmatory trials. So, in order to see the safety and efficacy of our product in the controlled clinical setting, like how it is working, whether it is safe or not, whether the launch will be perfectly done with the data, with the sufficient data generation. So, in all such a way, the MSL will be a point of contact, and he or she will be initiating this investigator initiated trials. And during the launch, we need to educate this other KOLs, and we need to educate the other KOLs and our company's medical reps also, because once the product is being launched, it is very new to the market. So and no one can really communicate the information well and good than a medical expert, that is MSL. So we need to educate the stakeholders, as I said, internal and external stakeholders. We need to communicate with the doctors. We need to disseminate the scientific data behind them, mechanism of action, what are all the contraindication, and what are all the current data that we got from this investigator-initiated trial or phase 3B trials. And at this these data should be disseminated to the KOLs in the city, at the same time to the company's medical reps as well, because they are going to face the doctors in a day-to-day life activities. So this is about the launch and post-launch. What are all the problems? What are all the important things that we need to get is, of course, post-marketing surveillance, that phase four monitoring should be done. RWE generation. This RWE generation is a very important point for an MSL, because in clinical trials, we go for a controlled clinical setting. We write down the study criteria. We include certain patient who will be favorable for the disease, or who will be favorable for the therapies. We exclude the patient with some comorbidities. Whereas in real world, you can't what you will say, you can't control all these settings. So when a patient comes to a doctor, really, if a doctor wants to try this new product out of the patient, and if he gives, how the feedback and how is the safety and efficacy, how efficacious is this in the patient. So those are the RWE data that we need to really generate. And as in nowadays, you can see in many social media platforms or like LinkedIn, etc., there you can see the differences between this RCTs, that is randomized control trials, and then RWE studies. So what is the difference, and how the control city RCT study findings was there, and how the RWE study finding was there. You can see the differences there in and around. RW, according to me, this RWE studies give you the true data about the product, that safety and efficacious data about the product. And conducting CMEs, that is, you need to uh, disseminate the scientific information to the fellow doctors who is being assembled for the CME program. Like around 10 to 15 doctors will be there in a month, and you need to disseminate and you need to talk about the product details and recent studies to the set of doctors who has been assembled in a conference as well. So this is all about the complete MSL role in a product life cycle. And what are all the skill set really an Pharm.D person should have, and really they have these skill sets, definitely they can crack this MSL role. First of all, therapeutic expertise. So, as a PharmD, we study pharmacotherapeutics 1, 2, and 3. We explore many therapy areas, right from cardiovascular to psychology, like nervous disorders. Every therapy area we must be explored anatomically, pathophysiologically, therapeutically as well. So we know in or around from the disease part and to the therapy part. So whether what are all the treatment modalities being available, what are all the adverse effects that we can expect from the current treatment modalities, and what you will say, what is the mechanism of action of each and every drug, what is the pharmacodynamics, what is the pharmacokinetics. So in and around, we also study this pharmacology as well. So in and around, we should know each and everything about the therapy. And the next is communication. See, this job is all about how you are communicating the scientific information to the doctors. Your vocabularies, your kind of an English fluency, and more than that, if you are fair enough that you are really disseminating the right information to the doctors, that is KOLs, that is more than enough. So your communication also takes place an important role in the skill set. And the next is training skill, that or teaching skill, because you are going to teach your company's representative regarding the product, regarding the trials, regarding everything, like what are all the key advancement, what are all the product details, what are the USPs, that is unique selling point of their products. So everything you are going to teach and in and around. So teaching skill should be also there. And the next is clinical research knowledge. So why, according to me, the most important skill set is therapeutic area expertise and then clinical research area expertise, because you are going to be an important point of contact in all the investigator initiated trials. So if you do lack in this clinical research, you can't perform well in that KRA at all. So this therapy area and this clinical research both are a very, very important skill set to crack this MSL role. So in clinical research, you should able to crack in literature. For example, if a research article is being given to you, you should able to understand the rationale behind it, and you need to correlate whether the results are being matching with the objectives or not, whether the primary and secondary outcomes are really satisfying the primary and secondary objective. So such a correlation knowledge, at the same time the basic ethics has been followed in that study or not, the critical appraisals, like for example in RCTs there are set of critical appraisals, whether there is any bias in the study or whether the randomization is fair enough, and whether the inclusion exclusion criteria are being in a correct way in order to meet. So in all ways, you should be an expert in clinical research, so that whenever in clinical research is being done or whenever in clinical research paper is being given in front of you, you need to understand each and everything about the trial. So basic knowledge in the clinical research is very, very important. And cross-functional collaboration, because as an MSL you need to collaborate with various teams. For example, in a company, in an organization like a pharmaceutical organization, there are multiple teams: research team, marketing team, sales team, what you will say, then a medical team. So you need to collaborate with everyone in order to get the right information. For example, if a research team is not giving the right information, you can't go and disseminate in front of the doctor, right? So at the same time, you need to collaborate, cross-functional collaborate with the marketing team as well, because this kind of institution, like continuous medical events or ad boards, that need to be coordinated with the marketing team as well. So you should be a team player when it is coming to a multinational company. You need to be a team player. So that is cross-functional collaboration for you. And the most important thing is slide deck preparation. And another important thing. So, if, for example, if you are going to meet a KOL today, and you are going to speak about certain points to the doctor, and if you have some presentation that you need to give to him, and the time space will be around less than 5 minutes. So in this 5 minutes, you need to talk about the trials, you need to talk about the science behind the product, you need to talk about the off-label and on-label indications. So everything that you need to what you will say, you need to communicate with the doctor. So your slide should be very crystal clear and very succinct, so that you are justified and you are, what you will say, you are disseminating the data in a right way that your company wants to be. And so, do really these MSL roles are on the rise? So honestly, yes, my answer would be yes, because not because I'm in this into this profession, but because the market is growing and I hope my screen is visible for everyone again. Sorry for the inconvenience which happened now. There was some technical glitches happening in and around. Sorry for that. So, do really this MSL role uh, are on the rise? So, honestly speaking, it is S from my side, not being in the associated with this profession, not at all. Because as I said in the because like healthcare providers, they really wants an information from peers, that is from a medical expert. They demand for in scientific discussion, because from morning to evening they are practicing in their clinical setup and or into the hospitals. They really have a lack of time to reach out into the recent current advancement in the therapies or recent literatures that has been coming out with respect to the products as well with respect to the therapies. So they don't have time, and really they look up for an MSL to come and communicate with them, to have a good scientific interaction with them in order to get recent advancement in their areas. And why? Because this MSL role is really on the rise. Nowadays, you can see in many companies' pipeline, that is, their research molecules are very complex in nature. And there are many monoclonal antibodies, where there are many gene therapies, there are many immuno-oncology products that is coming in and around. So the medical concepts are really complex, and that cannot be disseminated by an medical rep at all. So I have a slide also in upcoming slides, which clearly differentiates the role of this MSLs, that is medical advisor, between and then medical representative. So what is the key difference between these two roles? Are the medical MSLs are like a medical reps? Definitely not. We are medical aspects that we possess a doctor degree. At the same time, the key difference between the two roles is medical reps, they communicate on unsolicited requests, requests, whereas an MSL will communicate only for the solicited communication. For example, if both in medical rep, of course, a medical rep will be accompanying a medical advisor for each and every KOL plans. So the medical rep will communicate everything, what is in his visual line, whereas my MSL will only resolve the queries of doctors. So that is solicited medical request for you. And they will talk everything like promotional communication and subject related, many things which is not related, sales, etc., etc., that to the doctors. Whereas we put our border very clear and we draw a line there. We communicate only when there is a medical query that need to be addressed. So in such a way we communicate and we disseminate. We do not talk upon much. And this medical reps are not allowed to talk about the off-label communication, off-label indication to the doctors, whereas we, as a medical expert, we can communicate on-label and off-label, that is approved indication and advanced indications. So, with respect to the doctors, and the really doctors want to try not only in a fixed indication to the other indication as well. I can quote you an example also. Metformin, initially it is an oral hypoglycemic agent, whereas it can be also used to treat this PCOD also nowadays. So variety of indication is there for a single drug. Another best example is aspirin. It acts as an antiplatelet. It acts as an anti-inflammatory. So it is kind of an advanced indications in and around only an MSL can communicate to the KOL. Right. And the next is brand name communication. What you will say? Brand name communication is only fixed to the MR. As a medical expert, we no role as this in this brand name communication or this promotional communication at all. We are only here to solve medical of the doctor, to initiate clinical trials with them, and to resolve their queries with respect to the recent advancement. So normally an MSL is not going to talk about the paracetamol or dextromethorphan or aspirin that has been in the market for ages. So an MSL is being hired only to disseminate the recent advancement. For example, I can quote this very SIGVAT that has been recently launched with respect to the heart failure. So that there are n number of scientific aspects that need to be communicated, and the cardiologist must to know what are the cardioprotective properties and how it is improving the ejection fraction, etc., etc. So this communication cannot be done by a medical representative, only by an MSL who is possessing a doctorate degree and they are really a therapeutic specialist. So they can disseminate all this information to the KOLs. So, and how the hierarchy is about. So initially you start as an MSL. As the days go on, you become a senior MSL and an executive MSL, then MSL lead, MSL manager, and therapy manager, team lead. So this hierarchy goes on and knows in many foreign countries, this medical affairs is being ruled by Pharm.Ds only. But in India, there is some competition going in and around between MDs and Pharm.Ds also. So until and unless we are competent enough, we can't crack this MSL role because the preference will be given to an MD candidate. But unless we perform really extremely well and good in all our interview process, definitely we can crack this. And many people have tested their benchmarks being a Pharm.D into medical affairs. They have cracked and they are into the top positions as well in many foreign MNCs like Pfizer, Eli Lilly, etc., etc. So this should not be an exceptional degree, but like as I said, the skill sets, what we undergo and what we develop during our all say 6 years of our curriculum, that will definitely help to crack this medical affairs. And another point I would also like to highlight here is, so when you look upon to the many domains like pharmacovigilance, clinical research, and what you will say, clinical data management. These all domains can be explored by an graduate who already done a basic life science degree of 3 years. So when you are being into that role and what knowledge that being imparted from the 6 years, that would not be a great fit according to me. That is purely my personal opinion. And so why I'm saying this medical affairs and this MSL role, because here you can incorporate your therapy area knowledge, your clinical research knowledge, your pharmacovigilance knowledge, your communication, and in all our 6 years we used to give case presentation. We have prepared many n number of slide decks. So everything, what are all the skills that you have been developing in all those 6 years, that will definitely help you to crack this MSL role. And that is how I did and I have cracked. So, and I would also like to say you just a small tip or how the interview process will be with respect to the MSL role. Initially, the round one will be a telephonic interview. That is a basic background verification and how was your communication is. So that will be checked. And second round will be a purely technical round. For example, they will test whether you have been enriched with the basic job role definitions, your roles and responsibilities has been crystal clear with you or not. That will be tested by a proper medical expert who's been sitting in the organization. And the third round will be a clinical research paper presentation round where you will be given a clinical research paper in an advance and you need to prepare a presentation of a minimum of 10 to 12 slides where you are not where they will test your communication skills and your therapy area expertise and clinical research understanding. Everything will be evaluated there. And honestly saying, n number of questions will be shooted out in the last round that without any fumbling and without any what you will say, without fumbling and without dragging, unless and until you are well prepared, you can definitely crack those also, because this third round will be a very most difficult round. But if we are fair enoughly understanding the clinical trials, as I said, you need to have a correlation knowledge. You need to correlate the results with the objectives and you to understand the research methodologies in the such a way. Okay, I think I've cleared many things now. So these are on my social media handles. You can definitely reach out at any time, and within 24 hours, I would love to address all your queries there. And I am saying that in recent times, many family people has approached me and I have guided many of them. And now few of them got the thing also. It is not promotional thing I'm saying, just like I want our community to grow in a good way as this RX doctors is doing. They are really bridging the families and coming up and taking up everyone in a single roof and educating with them with various topics of interest, and they are really doing a great job actually. So I thank this or RX Doctors organization for giving me this opportunity and to speak with many family peoples around the pan India and to share my views on my job role MSL. So thank you for this opportunity.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah, audio audible. Thank yes.
Like I have a small question. I saw about MSL. Your session was really nice. But the thing is, like I don't know whether it is rumor or anything. They are saying like freshers they are not taking for this MSL job. They are saying, sir, is it true, or should I work as some other like a CRC, or should have any other experience, and then I have to apply for this sector, sir?
Yeah, that is actually an commendable question. So many people have this query. So I have uh, you can see, I think everyone are in LinkedIn today. You can see many people who have cracked this MSL role as being a fresher as well. Many people, I can say, in you can see the awareness in South India is less, but in North India, there people are being aware from the second year, first year about this medical affairs role. So then they are cracking as soon as they pass Pharm.D. And really, some organization they expect for an formal work experience around 6 months. But see, you're going to disseminate the scientific information to the doctors. So experience doesn't matter, but some organization they do demand, I agree, of about 6 months or 1 year formal experience, either in research or in academics or in clinical practice, nevertheless.
Thank you,
Hello.
sir.
Hello.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so first of all, thank you for the informative presentation. It was really great. We got
Thank
to know
you.
much more about the MSL as much as we were observing people getting into MSL. So I have a question. For a fresher getting into an MSL role, should he or she pursue for further certifications or masters or experience? Or what
Okay.
a fresher should have the gold qualities to to get into the MSL role. What would you guide to a fresher if he wants to get into MSL role?
Okay. So here I will take my personal example. So I passed my Pharm.D in 2023 July. So I put as a disclaimer, this is not a self-branding, but I can say from my experience only. So when I passed out and when I'm up to that point, I don't know anything about MSL. Till I pass out. So when I was sitting jobless for 2 months, so I got to know what are all the different opportunity being a PharmD I can explore. So the first hit button was medical affairs and MSL role. So I really networked and I researched all over LinkedIn and I found few profiles as a fresher without any kind of a certification being only in family they have cracked, and I tried in a similar way also and I have given few interviews, but the comment on the last round, as I said in the paper presentation round, what I got is you are too young and you don't have a formal work experience. So that was a comment I received. So then I don't want to waste time. So my another option was clinical research. So I went into clinical research and clinical practice, and I was working for 4 months. Meanwhile, what are all the opportunities I can hit? I am hitting per day. You don't know, like I will apply for about 25 to 50 jobs, and based upon that I got some call letters and now I am being into this medical affairs. So for example, I can say as soon as I pass out in the July, in January I was into this field of MSL. So that is not an big deal, but you need to set your skill set. and that should be very competent enough, because you are going to give interview with MDs, you are going to give interview with PhDs. So you need to have an crystal clear knowledge about therapy, clinical research, because these are two eyes that you need to be very, what you will say, 200% well to crack this kind of an MSL role. And certification, definitely. So if your skills are satisfied, that will be very commendable during the interview process. So I will not say certification will help. It will help, it may help, it may not help, but the way you perform in the interview, that matters a lot.
Exactly. So can you recommend, if you are aware of your certification, which one should go for? Not only for MSL, but usual.
Usually, if you need to have a good resume, and you need to really want you to differentiate from the other candidates, you should go for a clinical research certification, basic clinical research certification. There you can understand the clinical research methodology in depth well, and many different stakeholder roles as well. And the next I would say is, there are board certified MSL courses, but they are quite very costly. And there are it is in being in dollars as well. It is an online course only, but it is being dollars as well. And many people, there is no specific medical affairs course or an MSL course in India. And when I did this course, I think I was the last person, and they taken away this course. I think that too, it is an LSS way, self-study way. No classroom, no online sessions were taken. Just like a presentation will be given. After that, you need to go for an exam. So in such a way, I completed that certification. But if you really want to go for a certification, there is a certification called Board Certified MSL, but that is quite costly. And there is also another thing called ACMA, Accreditation Certification on Medical Affairs. So that would be also a great help for people who really wanted to make their skills as a certified one.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, I have a question in the chat box. What are the challenge did you face as you enter the MSL profession, and how do you overcome them? Yeah. So challenges in the sense, travel is the first challenge. So if you're really passionate about your job, this job is requires some tedious traveling as well. For example, for in a month of 20 days in Chennai, I will be around 10 days, or in rest of Tamil Nadu, I will be around 10 days. Then in Mumbai for 5 days, and not in every month, but it requires tedious traveling. That is one of the biggest great challenge. And the next is, uh, whenever you speak with an KOL, they don't there are good KOLs, and there are people who don't want to listen to us as well. So in such a situation, that will be also a challenge. Mm, can you share some example of impactful projects or initiative that you worked as an MSL? Okay, so I can't exactly give the project names or initiative that I have been associated, because that are very confidential with respect to my organization. But I can say an example. There was being a new product launch happen. That was a good molecule. We really worked hard for that, from the early development to the pre-launch, until we are working upon it on the post-launch as well. So I displayed a slide right from early development to the post-launch. So in all these kind of activities which I mentioned, I worked upon that. And the product launch is an gifted skill set for an MSL. So that will help to give you further promotions, and cracking bigger MNC companies as well. That is a great, what you will say, skill set for you. New product launch. That is an initiative. Sir, this role is as PMT role. Definitely not. See, marketing is different, medical is different. An organization have three major core teams called sales, marketing, and medical is at the top of it at all time, in Indian MNCs as well as foreign MNCs. Marketing people, they are involved in sales as well sometimes, and they initiate some marketing strategies, whereas medical is only to support this marketing and sales team via their science. There were no role involvement or overlap over these kind of roles. It is crystal clear. Medical is meant for only medical things, to solve the queries of KOLs, to initiate trials with the KOLs, and to disseminate right information to the doctor with respect to the product and recent literature that have been coming up. And the next is training the uh, field force for that. So it is not at all same as PMT role. That is my point. And I felt really this is a great fit for a Pharm.D to explore and to engage all his 6 year knowledge into this, and to apply all his 6 years knowledge into the professional setting. Yeah, thank you so many. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Dwarakesh for taking the time to share his invaluable insights and experience with us. Your session has been incredibly enlightening and inspiring. It has shed light on the vast opportunities available for Pharm.D students and professionals. Thank you, sir, for your guidance, expertise, and motivation. Your words have left a long lasting impression on everyone at SICON Season 5. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me today. Thank you.
We are delighted to welcome